pick.
Yeah, and you can already see, right, EDG knowing to counter out what RNG want to do with the Galio ban. I think interesting with the topside carries, though, Kobe, is the fact that Xiaohu hasn't played the Graves himself. They've had to consistently ban out this champion, and when it's such a diversible pick in this meta, I wonder what RNG will do to answer, or if they'll just ban that out themselves. Ooh. RNG banning out the Twisted Fate.
Did not see that coming.
You would think that, oh yeah, EDG, you have to ban Twisted Fate versus Cryin, but Scout can use it too. So many people are overlooking Scout, and this has been something that has followed him for so much of his career, internationally at least, not getting recognized as much. And RNG, they recognize Scout as the dominant mid laner that he is. He too can make very good use of Twisted Fate and controlling those side lanes. So while at first glance makes a little bit shaky sense there, EDG are on blue side. They could very easily first pick it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who followed the LPL finals will remember that Scout picked that up against Doinby when everyone thought that's how FPX would crush EDG. So very comfortable pick for him, especially when you know Scout is also willing to take the Sylas side of the matchup and would probably be completely fine going against the Twisted Fate itself. But with these bans, I'm curious to see where EDG will go. The Lucian instantly, so EDG are going towards that bot side centric play style.
All right, Xiaohu, you're not allowed it. You know, that's obviously a takeaway as well. His top lane, Lucian, is quite good. Aphelios looks like that is, I can't tell if it's actually a lock or hover just yet, but obviously 2 picks needed now for RNG.
Yeah, Gala back on Aphelios seems like a pretty comforting pick here. The misfortune is still floating around. But when you do see the early Aphelios, maybe a Thresh follows it quickly, and then you see Nami on the other side for the Lucian. I personally don't want to see EDG run a solo lane Lucian. Ever since the crit changes, I think it lost a lot of power for solo lanes, and it will not play really into EDG's style at all.
Yeah, now I'm curious to see if EDG just go to the stock and standard Nami pick that we have seen with Lucian pretty much every game that he has appeared at the World Championship. I'm also keeping my eye on junglers from the fact that Lee Sin is banned, so typically people would fall down to something like a Xin Zhou coming out next. I do think Jiejie has shown more variety in what he's willing to play, because for RNG, there's still things like the Viego left open that we've seen a lot at Worlds, but RNG really never gravitated towards that as a jungle pick.
Well, looking now at maybe early gank power instead with the Jarvan, I do want to talk about the Nami really briefly. In general, from my understanding of bot lane matchups, Yuumi actually beats a lot of enchanter lanes. So this makes sense, right? If you want to go for a Nami Lucian, you should be banning the Yuumi, because that's actually the counter. You basically can't bully a Yuumi lane hard enough with just range damage. You need to play a tank support to beat that. And so if you're playing for the style, okay, well, Nami doesn't have any other really good counters in the meta, so no matter what you pick, it's going to feel pretty good.
Yuumi certainly has been very resilient as far as the early lane phase that people have tried to punish at Worlds and done so unsuccessfully, but not going to be in this game at all. There's your Xin Zhou pick. There's your early ganking prowess and your probabilities here for Wei plus Cryin. Cryin, regardless of if he has Twisted Fate or not, you know, he looks for things like Galio, like Ryze to be able to roam around as well. So Ryze moving out of mid lane with the Xin should be possibilities there to try and affect the rest of the lanes.
Yeah, now I would expect I was expecting RNG to maybe just ban out mid laners that they didn't want to play against, trying to just really protect Cryin in that mid lane, but instead going up towards that top side.
And this is what we mentioned. This is what happens when you don't get the early blind play for Flandre. No Graves, maybe Jayce will follow it up. He has literally only played Graves and Jayce at Worlds thus far, so you can just two-shot his champion pool in the second round of bans.
Yeah, and I think Flandre is a really interesting one, because his most played coming out of the regular season of LPL was actually Set. And Set top was not meta in the regular season portion anywhere in the world. So this might be a callback to putting Flandre on something a bit more safe in that top side. You already have the Lucian Nami just all-inning on that lane.
I also always look for combos with Jarvan. This Jarvan pick, I know Jarvan has been very, very contested at Worlds, and people have not really, you know, bought into the success of the champion, but it's so good versus mobile carries. Very good versus Aphelios, very good versus Ryze, even decent versus Xin. And when you combo his ultimate with some other large AoE teamfighting tool from one of these solo lanes, that's what I'm looking at to round out this EDG draft.
Yeah, I think for EDG right now, when I'm looking at soul lanes, the thing that would stand out to me is maybe something along the lines of a Syndra coming out for Scout, does quite well into the Ryze matchup. He always could go for the ball delivery combo as well. That does good into the Ryze. I'm just really curious to see where this support pick, what you would expect to be for RNG, goes, because Ming plays some weird things, right? He's gone towards things like the Set for himself, but no, instead instantly going to bring up the Nautilus.
Yeah, as far as tank versus enchanter matchups go, Nautilus is, what I can tell, the best of the options. It's going to do better than Leona in matchup tables, so this is okay. If we're going to finish the bot lane, Nautilus can put out enough damage that you can threaten Nami and Lucian.
And while Meiko has, dipped into the enchanter champion pool, played the Lulu, played the Yuumi here at Worlds, Ming has been hardcore engaged champions. He's still sticking to those melee hard engage, looking for the kill lanes. So even with the Lulu Thresh ban there, that's nice. What it's going to be. Malzahar going to be locked in for Scout. Easily able to lock up that Ryze. Combos very well with Jarvan. Make sure that you can't miss your EQs when the ultimate's on him. Full combo there.
And like you said, Kobe, we have seen Flandre just going back to the Jayce. I think especially when you know that RNG are going to play up towards the top side, getting something that can function on its own. I think a lot of fans now recognize that Jayce is a champion who can scale into the late game with the changes that have come in 2021 with itemization like Sorelda's Grudge. And now it's about Xiaohu and what kind of answer he's able to find.
Interesting to see that Zoe was the ideal ban and Mal still just comes in. But saying, you know what, go ahead and go and take that Jayce. We've got a counter pick ready. Go take that champion. Graves is one they weren't willing to deal with, but Jayce, they're looking at Irelia. Xiaohu, an absolutely stellar player. Years on RNG as a mid laner. Role swaps to top here in 2021, and he has been nothing but outstanding at his new role.
I'm actually really surprised to see this come out from RNG because they've banned this champion so much in both Summer and World so far. Xiaohu sure played as a mid laner, but hasn't pulled it out top just yet.
Now, these are the last hopes of the LPL, but only one of these Titans will live to see another day. As RNG and EDG load onto the Rift, we're getting the perfect setup to Game 1 to the tunes of Burn It All Down featuring Paris. Be sure to check out the song and all the different remixes on the official League of Legends playlist on Spotify. Summoner's Rift awaits a best of 5 to determine who will be the final LPL team at Worlds. LNG and Fun Plus Phoenix fell in the group stage, and now a battle between the two all-time Titans. Royal Never Give Up and Edward Gaming. One will move on, maybe for the first time ever. They've both won an MSI, neither has won Worlds. And what a treat it would be to get it finally.
I think especially for both of these squads, right? You're looking at Scout and Meiko on the side of EDG. You're looking at Ming and Xiaohu for RNG. These players have been around so long. They've gotten so close to the top of the mountain before. Again, the MSI champions, the LPL titles they've accumulated. And yeah, this feels like the ultimate showdown.
And with that Irelia pick into Jayce, they are not going to change up the script for EDG. They are definitely going to be sending resources up there, throw bodies at that matchup, get Xiaohu some kills, get them the lead that way. Excited to look at these roam timers. Keep your eyes on support backing timers, on jungle going mid to open up Cryin to allow him to roam up to top as well.
Yeah, that's something that really stands out to me, especially with the support timers, because the last time these guys played, it was a 2-0 for RNG in the summer split of LPL. Ming was actually roaming top as early as level 2 to start getting Xiaohu ahead.
All right, well, breathe deep, gentlemen. You are about to witness the very best the LPL has to offer. Summer LPL champions versus spring LPL champions and current MSI champions. What a quarterfinal we have for you today.
And even the very early game has told us the top lane's kind of important. Jiejie's first gank was walking up, putting his trinket ward down and saying, hey, by the way, if Xiaohu tries to drop aggro, walk at a top brush, you can save your trinket ward. You can play it for the gank instead. Keep that top lane going.
Yeah, I mean, again, right, it's just very clear of what EDG and RNG are both trying to do. It's going to be all about that top side focus. I'm curious to see if Jiejie wants to go with anything a bit more creative. Jarvan being one of the champions who can go for things like level 2 and 3 ganks because you are going to fall off a bit later on, so wanting to try to find that acceleration. Wouldn't expect to see too much action happening really anywhere else on the map, though.
And it's interesting because there are always, two ideals to go after. Are you actually going to play to your strengths or try and shut down your opponent's strength? And of course, for EDG, they've got the Lucian Nami, want to play very aggressive on bottom side. Viper Meiko have some of the most outstanding bottom lane stats of any bottom lane at Worlds, heralded as the very best in the world. They want to play aggressive, pushing up here. And since we do have both red starts for both junglers, Wei could actually make an early visit down there. If you can gank early for the Nautilus lane and find that flash play, Ming definitely will be able to initiate for you. If you find that early kill onto this lane and burn some summoners, you can change the whole course of the game.
Yeah, right, and that's typically the plan of when you do have the engage and tank supports going up against the enchanters, waiting out for that level 2 or 3 mark where you do have the superior skirmishing, and then looking to find that advantage, right? Because when you are an enchanter and then an AD carry, you are very squishy. It will be very hard to continuously walk forward and try and chip down plates like you'd want if you are constantly under fear of the enemy jungle making his way down.
Ming doing a good job not trading too much health early on. They will also have very clear timers on this ward. The river ward was easily scoutable right there. You saw them push up. They go up into the river. That should be the trinket timer.
So they can cap that one down. I do want to point out, as Ming looks for the hook but can't find it just yet as EDG backs off, the keystone choice of Meiko is very smart. As I look at this lane, Viper's running cleanse. He has no way of helping Meiko out, and that means you need to not be one-shot by a Nautilus. Guardian is the only selfish keystone you can run on an enchanter, and that should really help Meiko not be an easy target.
Intelligent use there too, you know, Meiko and Gala. Meiko using his threat on Nautilus to deny that cannon minion, and then even though Wei then will reveal himself by popping that cone and coming out to clear out the ward, you're using that threat to try and deny the extra pressure. It's actually causing multiple denials here by Gala and Ming. CS lead acquired for them because of the danger of the jungle difference. They know that their jungler started their red and Jiejie is up on top side, so you can't step up.
Now I'm really curious to see what Jiejie will actually do. I think good read from RNG, right? Because the RNG bottom wave is crashing back down into EDG. They know Jiejie will be making his path back down there, doing his Krugs right now. So RNG doing a good job getting this ward, making sure that gank doesn't come through, because on the opposite side of the map, Flandre got the crash, so he could even just let the wave bounce back and he would be completely fine.
Interesting choice right now for Wei, and he's actually opting to continue farming, going up top side for Krugs. Like that you mentioned, the possibility of the setup of the big wave on bottom side, because the slow pushing giant wave crashing into turret can be a really big point of conflict early on in the game. Since it's so easily warded out, Gala and Ming will just let it crash into the tower as Jiejie passes through, and this is what you get when you get differing jungle side starts. You know, Xin Zhou wants to remain efficient, and Wei's gone up to Krugs.
What's interesting is 3 trinket wards were put down to that bottom jungle, 2 by Wei himself, 1 on Krugs, 1 on the red, and then now a 4th actually as that ward got swept. Ming puts a new one down. They want to make sure that EDG cannot put the pressure on the bot lane. As resets come through, Noon Quiver is the ideal recall for an AD carry. Gala's going to feel pretty good about his lane control, and we'll see how much EDG can then do to manicure that lane. RNG obviously up to a solid 300 gold start. That is positive basically just in the mid lane, as top and bot are very close together.
I feel like we've seen the setup of both teams so far be quite well, right? EDG, we talked about, they got Flandre's wave in safely. They were set up for a bot lane gank that could have come through, but RNG's wards had been quite good. I feel like now for RNG, the next time you're looking for is that level 6 mark. Actually, probably both teams' timer, right? Is EDG looking for that easy gank in the mid lane onto the Ryze with the Malzahar ultimate, as Wei looking to just hover around mid, let Cryin get the push out, and then maybe trying to set up a play on the top side of the map with the Irelia.
Yeah, because they should easily be able to know that each other jungler started on red, your second spawn of red is going to be around 645, 650 into the game. So they're trying to keep up the wards in preparation for possible second buff spawn play. Second buff spawn plays can be so big, because if you win the second buff spawn play, then that easily times into the spawn of Herald as well and can snowball the map that way. RNG with their deep wards, starting up that dragon, and Wei should be able to burn it down. Mid lane has been pushed. Remember, Malzahar always has a fairly difficult time early on in the game finishing up some of those CS. That's where you see that mid lane discrepancy come from. But Scout is now level 6, so Malzahar does bring
good damage out of Viper. That combo is certainly nearly deadly. 200 health left, but with Ming nearby, they don't feel comfortable going in for any more. Exhaust, of course, burned as well. Wave clear, but Jiejie nearby in the tri-brush. Not going to be going for any kind of play. Gala has to take an early recall.
Yeah, just really nice overall coming out from EDG's bottom lane, getting out the exhaust, so not going to have to worry about that one. And even on the opposite side, you see EDG realize, hey, we're able to cover this play on the bot side. RNG using their window and their timer to go for Dragon opens up this time for Flandre and Scout to get vision in the top side jungle. They know after Dragon, Wei's going to recall and look for this play. So I would expect now both teams may be looking at that top half of the map now that Dragon is off the table. And heck, we're only about a minute and 10 seconds away from the Herald spawn that Kobe was talking about.
Yep, and here's your 650 second buff plays. Both of them have been warded out. Wei finds the ward on the way to his second buff. Meanwhile, Jiejie also had previously cleared out those deep wards, so both of them with a decent amount of information which makes you think there shouldn't be conflict here unless somebody makes a very big positioning error.
All right, well, you've heard us talk about the game, but I want to hear from you as well, so let us know with Verizon 5G Alt Chat what you want going on. What you're thinking? Do you believe it's a 50-50 like we saw from the Twitter poll? Do you think it's a clear 3-0? I mean, I can't believe our analysts are going 3-1. Like, just stick to your actual call, you know?
Yeah,
just 3-0.
Just commit. I mean, again, I predicted RNG to win Worlds.
Yeah.
I think this match is close, but I'm sticking to my guns. RNG hopefully coming to top for my pick'ems, but at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like this first 7 minutes is very telling of how this series will go. I don't really expect it to be one-sided, especially in interregional matchups. RNG's bottom lane.
Oh! Almost predicted the flash. Meiko flashed more downward than left. Does not connect. As Viper low on mana. Top laners, for the first time all game, fighting with their actual health bars. Wei coming in nearby. Flandre at 400 health. It's going to be a disengage, a 3 CS difference in top lane.
Yeah, Xiaohu getting the health lead there because his mid jungle already have control of the river.
Oh, that's an empowered root. That's a Malzahar over the top and a double knockup and an ulti back in. Wei gonna kick him right back out, and he will not take any more damage until Flandre shows up. Too early, just wait! Flandre's impatient, but rewarded with first blood all the same.
And then he goes back to the realm warp there. It's first blood for EDG.
Yeah, RNG just getting a bit ahead of themselves. Things are looking pretty good on the map, looking up towards top. Their bottom lane winning out, but they walk a bit too far. Straight into Scout and Jiejie. They have so much first between them, and nice to see EDG picking up a first kill.
Oh, Ming went for the risky hook attempt to maybe interrupt Viper's ulti. Actually, maybe thankfully missed, but now level 6, if they can find the target. It's not gonna happen. 300 health, not enough to take the fight, but now Xiaohu wants right back into the top side before he can spend the money, and Xiaohu takes first blood, and Cryi's like, hey, buddy.
And this is what people have been saying about Xiaohu, right? Xiaohu, potentially the best top laner in the LPL, has been looking great all tournament. Viper and Meiko, oh, ult's come out.
Ult's important. It's gonna tag onto the opposing AD carry. Gala's gonna run back. The slow's not gonna stick for long enough, and they just barely get out with their lives.
It's incredibly important, too, the performance of Xiaohu and RNG on the top side of the map in this game, because it is first game of the best of 5, and the win here does so much for your draft. If you get to say, you no longer can first pick, blind pick this type of top lane matchup here, you can't be blind picking Jayce because we will Irelia and kill you. That will have big ramifications for the rest of the series. Here is a big commitment onto the Malzahar. Again, shows Malzahar has his ult, very good for these early jungle duels. Wei, nice ultimate though, because he had not attacked Jarvan, gets to knock him away. Early shock blast from Flandre doesn't matter, but he's got flash to be able to catch up. So flash to the skies and into the dirt goes Wei.
Yeah, Kobe, and I like what you were hitting on before the replay about how important that top lane kill is, because even looking at drafts holistically, right, for EDG it's going to be a lot about grouping up as 5. I feel like they will win contests over midway, meaning they can get on objectives first. So for RNG it's going to be a lot about playing out through the pressure they can get on sides to be able to enter on objectives or find flanks. So Xiaohu needs to be able to win in that side lane matchup.
We're about to get a notification that the Gourd Drinker, first mythic of the game, has been completed as well. Ding, ding, ding! Congratulations, Xiaohu.
1.77 per game at Worlds. This one's gonna have 3. This is the one that people think about, but they're like, Gourd Drinkers in every game. It's like, yeah, sometimes you do have double fighters in an Irelia, but there's some where you don't have them, right?
I'm just saying, I was completely on the same page as Vedius, where it's like, okay, every game you have like one team that builds 2 or 3 and the other team building 1, but as we get back on the map, EDG, they haven't been spotted yet.
Here we go. Xiaohu has his flash, does not dodge the knockup, which means Malz is going to be guaranteed to land it. Silence, everything else lands. No way out. Heals for a bit. And the turret trades him back. Well done, Xiaohu.
Yes, Kobe Xiaohu, I can't believe that he made that work. EDG committed so much.
Yeah, oh my goodness, the tower shot's being absorbed too. Almost saw the YouTube highlight play where he flashes and also gets a little bit of damage onto Scout to finish that one. But because you commit so many resources on top side, RNG will punish you. Getting a 3-person push, Rift Herald. This will one-shot the tower. Top side was pretty low, but I don't think Flandre can finish it in time before the Rift Herald kills bottom and gets Dragon number 2 for RNG.
That's the thing, right? For RNG, sure, you still lost on the top side of the map. Technically, Xiaohu lost away. Flandre got more plates, but you get a kill. You're winning on the opposite side as well. It feels like RNG winning everywhere on the map right now.
Exactly. Xiaohu gets to type in all chat. Gotta send 3 for me. He got a counter kill. The turret plates were actually in their favor since they already had the Rift Herald on bottom side. So another sweeping victory across the map here for RNG, because even though the gank ends up working down, so much damage there avoided. with his W plus extra damage goes through to finish off the Jarvan. He gets the counter kill, gets the answer. It's not even too bad for him because his wave pushing right back out. He's still got the level advantage over Jayce and can push back in time for the turret play. So it wasn't bad for Xiaohu. It wasn't bad for the rest of the team. It was bad for EDG, my friend.
It was, and shout out to the CEO of Camille Hate. I've got friends who would dispute that maybe they're the CEO instead. Maybe they're the CFO of Camille Hate.
I like it.
Either
like
way,
it.
yeah, rooting for RNG. Okay, I dig that. I would love to see which team loses to the Cloud9 in semis. That would be a great run.
No.
That is a great idea.
I'm sorry, CEO of Camille Hay, but that is not gonna happen though.
They do have Perks, and Perks has taken down RNG before.
I also gotta say our week 2 record versus NA, not the best indicator of what will happen.
It's okay, an LPL team's gonna win this game. So, you know, at the
That's
very
true.
least, the bleeding has stopped for a short time before the wound is reopened in semifinals.
I'm also curious to see, it gets so difficult now for EDG to play out this game because RNG, you've got map lead with bottom turret already down, so you can push out, you can get tempo lead, and you've got the Irelia that has the 2-kill advantage on this Jayce. So you're split pushing, extremely dangerous for EDG to overextend. You can see them utilizing this effect right now, sending 4 people to the top side to transfer your bottom pressure all the way to the top side and just take over the map.
They're even answering well on the opposite side as well, right? Cryin knows his job. I just catch bot wave, head immediately to mid, make sure that Viper isn't able to do anything there. So RNG right now covering all their bases, and EDG just pretty much having to play catch up and respond to whatever proactive play RNG goes for.
Nobody on EDG has safety. This is something where you always have to be guessing about who has pick potential, who has kill pressure on the opponent team, and then you seed that minion wave so that you can just catch it at your turret play defensively. If you've got no one who can overextend, you know, Malzahar, terrible for split pushing. Even Flandre now, very vulnerable for split pushing. There's no way to really regain control because Meiko is kind of tied to the Lucian. You have to have your Nami supporting Lucian to defend there. So much priority on the side of RNG, and they're a team that is very well adept at executing when they have these advantages. You can just push out, move into the river first, and then see if they actually take the fight.
That's the thing too, right? Since RNG were able to get out of lane first and get that bottom turret, they should always have tempo.
The jungle dare.
Yeah, red buffs on each of them, so slow, you can knock out of attack. Ryze gonna land the rip, but only after the flag and drag out, so it is going to be a very nice Rift Scuttler handed over to RNG. Now, I want to point out, as we've crested 14 minutes, RNG went up 6 turret plates in the laning phase. 3 of those, yeah, sure, bot lane Herald, good job there. But yet, 3 more on top of that, 2 in mid, obviously a good job done top as well. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, can EDG get the hopeful comeback play that you always look for when you're the team that doesn't have any sort of split pushing option or split push advantage? You say, oh, well, we got to farm for late, but we also got to group and hope that we can pounce on them. Some people call it the goon squad strategy, you know, group up as 5, get your pick with your Malzahar ultimate, try and get your 5-on-5 advantage and try and snowball an objective that way. Maybe you can pick off a member of RNG. If their hubris gets too much, if they overextend, we just saw on the river there a little bit of jungle dare, betting the other jungler that their team is behind them. Those are your openings back into it.
We might get more jungle dares coming through with Wei walking forward, but I feel like for EDG, it's not even necessarily about waiting for the time to make that 5-man play. You're probably going to have to give up one side of the map to look for it, but Freak, we're going to get a lot of fights.
Guardian pop, we're going to have a battle coming across. Nautilus going to hit the Lucian, but a huge frontline play for Jarvan, but it's not going to matter. The health bars are too good, and Wei's ult just blocks all the damage. 1-0 to RNG. They just keep winning everywhere.
And like Kobe was saying, they just keep daring each other to go in. We finally see Wei does go for it. Too much burst coming out from their side. RNG were also first on the setup with Flandre still trying to make his way down. And not too much map pressure being translated from that play, but still RNG walking out with a bit more gold in their pockets.
Yeah, I think EDG, they either need to start their play with multiple shock blast landing or with Malzahar there at the beginning. If Malzahar's there at the beginning, you can actually get this kill. You can ultimate Wei, you can lock him down, but you can see he's not there. He's coming from top side, so Scout trying to walk his way over the entire time. Jarvan, Xin Zhou already has his ultimate up, so no further damage there. Even though Flandre's trying to wait, trying to snipe him with the shock blast, you're not going to get that kill.
I also feel like this is a good call of what EDG are trying to do right now, where you need to be first in the play.
There it is, Malzahar first.
Yes, huge, and a double silence means there's no follow-up yet for RNG. It's gonna land the ulti though, triple root available, and they're gonna pile right in. Almost the kill on a Flandre and Viper. The shot comes in. Xiaohu's good for one, the other comes through from Cryin, and now Jiejie rooted in place. RNG, they may have gotten the first death, but they certainly got the next 3 kills.
And it was looking nice for EDG. They found a way to finally get a pick, maybe give themselves some pressure back on the map, but RNG ready for the turn. They buy time for Xiaohu to make his way over, and now they're on Soul Point.
This is an incredibly early Dragon Soul as well, Lyric. RNG control the map. They've got split pushing advantage and Soul is coming up. Yeah. So you can easily push on the towers first, force objective trades that have very little value for EDG, and they just have to pick up the scraps.
And the thing is, so often, the winning team in the early game, all right, they had lane pressure, they got some turret plates, they grabbed the Rift Herald, they're up in gold. But they got cross-mapped, right? You set your team to get Herald, other team gets Dragon. They got everything!
And we're going to see here, EDG, they go for the play. They realize you need to have the Malzahar coming in first. But Cryin doing a nice job of locking people down, and GALA instantly with the Aphelios ultimate as well. Moonlight Vigil, multi-man lockup. Wei goes in. I think it buys time for Xiaohu to look for that flash, and the Vanguard's edge coming out, instantly bursting down numerous people. And it didn't matter that EDG found that one pick. They committed so much for the support.
Oh, that was your Axe replay, and it's RNG maybe putting the last nail in the coffin. I mean, this is going to be so tough to come back from. Yes, you can fight for Soul, but they've shown they're already winning every team fight.
They've had that automatic nail gun. They've just been popping nails in all the way around that coffin this whole game. It's only 18.5 minutes in, and that thing is almost sealed up. It's crazy. The timing, though, you can see what EDG were thinking. They're thinking, we need to make our comeback pick with Malzahar before this Dragon comes up. So they're trying to jump on the timing, and that is what you need to do to try and cut off these objective chains from RNG, but they couldn't escape because of the beautiful ultimate from GALA himself, locks them in, they get the punish, and then, you know, we've just lost so many objectives already this game. It is going to be very, very deep.
I also think it's key that EDG looks for those plays when RNG are committing to side lanes. You can't look for like the initial river skirmish where RNG are in backtimers as well, and you probably will just get a full-on 5v5. You need to accept that you're going to lose somewhere on the map from the fact that RNG did get their split pusher ahead, and then look to overwhelm RNG with numbers advantage to get the picks to come back into the game.
Let's find this fix then. Does the play happen? Double stopwatch right now on the EDG side. Not a 1 for RNG. So a good pick could turn well. We count down 2 minutes and 45 seconds until Dragon Soul.
And I'm just going to assume that Xiaohu has double tenacity runes here because he does have the Conquer plus Resolve. So he's already got double tenacity. Plus he's going to have Sterix completed here. These are those unkillable, you know, late game fantasy of Irelia type of situations where even if you have the Malzahar on him, the rest of the RNG squad destroys you while you're trying to lock down that Irelia. And then, Core Drinker pop and Sterix pop in.
Sure, yeah.
And a lot of times you don't even get that kill. So RNG looking to roll it through. 2 minutes left on that Soul, and that should be the next force.
Yeah, doubles aren't going to last long. The slow's going to fall off quickly from Nami. He's going to feel pretty good. That man's running around. Malzahar's like the one guy who can get anything done. And yeah, he's fighting the team otherwise. He's going to lifesteal him. And there's Sterix, he popped out. He's taking the recall. 2 minutes to go until Dragon Soul. Ulti is not going to be dodgeable. Flandre is flashless, slow. Root, knockup, kickback doesn't matter. Can't even land to the skies. Instead, he falls to the ground.
Just a really nice use of their pressure. GALA was catching midwave, goes for the reset. So maybe EDG thinking that they wouldn't have the roaming squad there from the fact that EDG were actually the ones pushing out midwave. But RNG still controlled bot side vision and no way to dodge out on the Nautilus ultimate. RNG just know it's an easy pick off for them. For EDG, it feels like right now they'd really like to be playing with the range advantage they'd have with Jayce and Malzahar and maybe the calling coming out from Viper, but just not in a position where they can group up and have those stare-offs.
Honestly, I think the most important thing for EDG to do now is to stabilize their mental for the long series. This is a best of 5. You can't think about collapsing, you know, with the very fresh memory of yesterday's quarterfinal, which was over in the blink of an eye. You do not want to let that be a repeat. You cannot afford to just completely collapse and fold over. This is EDG. They know that they have a lot digger to deep. And a lot deeper to deep.
Digger to deep, I like that. I'm going to use that one again.
EDG need to get their mental a lot more sorted than yours is apparently right now. But
I've been rattled by this one already. I do not want a repeat of yesterday, Lyric, please.
Hey, but EDG have actually been in this position before. In spring playoffs, these guys played each other. EDG fell down 0-2. They brought back the series 2-5 games. Sadly, they did lose in the end, but EDG are comfortable in these scenarios, and they know that they are able to adapt.
All right, well, here comes the setup, right? Dragon is the play. It spawns in 20, and RNG, they're playing with time they already own. Look at this, Irelia just split pushing top lane. No one willing to answer her. They're like, you know what? Maybe you can take the Dragon. Well, we're summoning Herald mid, and you know, maybe we'll just take your base for it, because losing one Dragon doesn't really matter to them, but mid tier 2 is a whole bunch of gold. So top tier 2 is dead. Recall into a TP. Xiaohu shows up after the Dragon spawns, because EDG, you're not going to start Dragon in their face. You can't possibly. Oh, all right. We killed your turret. Now go ahead and run away. You showed up in the river. Congratulations, you got a ward. We killed your ward. Dragon started. EDG must take this. They're not allowed to run away. And yet, what's the fight going to be? Jarvan in the back line, 10 ways to follow. Pretty good ulti on the front line. Will it actually kill? Sterix popped. He's silenced, and Xiaohu just does not live. Tenacity not enough. Smite comes in. That is RNG with Dragon Soul. And that means the kills might come back through. 3v4 still winnable, maybe, as the shock blast is big. Wei heals up, but cannot find it. EDG may have lost soul, but they are winning this fight. And they're going for more. Scout gonna get a bit of damage. Pop the zone, you pop the stopwatch. Gala and Cryin forced one away.
And we saw EDG.
Oh! That's huge. Can they do Baron off of that shock blast?
Yeah, they have to go for it. It feels like,
the shock blast of hope from Flandre.
And that's what we were talking about with Jayce, right? It's not just about dominating the laning phase. You can still have these massive impacts. RNG looking like they want to contest.
Cryin 1v4, but they don't have the crowd control. We know they don't have Smite. That can be okay, but no one can lock down Cryin. He just walks up menacingly, and they back off.
Yeah, getting the actual last hit on the Dragon there, Wei, heroic efforts, does secure the soul for them, allows Cryin to heal up as they're kiting back with that Ocean Soul. So even though that shock blast, that almost, the ray of hope comes through from Flandre, they can't finish it off. Here's another attempt though, and you can see Irelia there, even with the Sterix, even with the flash late and with the attempt at the Gore Drinker, still gets bursted down, didn't tag anyone with it, so not a lot of healing there. They're unable to kite enough afterwards too. Good move there from Flandre, uses his flash, doesn't get popped, and allows Viper and Meiko to move up the lines with them.
I also feel like Jiejie was just able to buy so much space, and we're gonna get to see a repeat of Flandre's amazing accelerated shock blast here. I mean, just Cryin not blocking it, a bit unfortunate for the Aphelios, but let's see the reaction from Meiko.
All right, and it almost went Baron, but it means a 3,000 gold deficit and an Ocean Soul deficit. If these fights aren't instantaneous, RNG is gonna drain tank you, and EDG, I mean, they got the work cut out for him. Yes, Malzahar's on 2 items, and goodbye Scout to have that Oblivion Orb. So, I mean, they have cut 40% of the Ocean Soul off the map. This is part of the reason why I think Ocean has been overrated before, because you can just buy Grievous and actually cut into that soul pretty heavily. But it's still RNG with a very large lead.
I also feel like in that last game, we saw ways for EDG to be able to play out the game. Like Kobe was hitting on it in Champ Select, of Jarvan being really well against immobile carries. As Realm Warp comes in.
They're going to find a stun. Olsen really wants to take the fight, looks towards Viper to hook him in. Absolutely beautiful assassination. Xiaohu just forced him between a rock and a hard place, and he is crushed.
And guess what? Now that they've got Ocean Soul, the shock blasts don't really pose as much threat. If you take down the heart of the team comp, the Lucian is not there, then yeah, you can try and poke them inside Baron Pit, but they just heal back up.
And they also have amazing turn potential. Ming even still has his ultimate to try and find the engage onto EDG if they look to commit for this.
Until Ming deals damage, but he will not reach it. He's at half health right now. Wei, look for him. Jiejie as well, and they're gonna turn. EDG want this fight. The silence and the hook's gonna land. Ming may die, but they will trade back. And Gala and Wei are still inside the Baron Pit, but they need to mark the Jarvan. Spotted out by Aphelios, and Xiaohu is here to zone him away. Blast Plant means he doesn't have an easy way in. Flagger Dragon will be blind, and Baron will be claimed. Will they also get the Jarvan? Seems likely.
Nope, looks like Jiejie actually will be able to get away, but I feel like for RNG, it was so critical that they were able to kill Flandre in that play. Flandre really being the only long-range damage they had to be able to get the poke down, so it doesn't even matter that Ming ends up going down in the end. That was definitely a worthwhile trade for RNG.
Yeah, Ming knew what his mission was. He's got one goal. We got to kill this Jayce, then it is free. Then no one can stop us from chasing down the Jarvan, forcing him out of the Baron Pit. So he willingly sacrifices his life in the all-in attempt. Here is the Realm Warp. Beautiful Realm Warp because of Xiaohu's positioning.
Yeah.
The flank positioning from Xiaohu makes the entire thing. They section off the Lucian. They take down the heart of the team comp.
and then instantly turning to the Baron, and they know, right? The only real poke damage that can come out from the side of EDG is on Flandre. Ultimate immediately comes out from Ming. He's quite low. He knows he's probably going to go down. They do get the turn, and then I love that RNG realized, hey, we just need to zone off Jiejie from being able to get into the pit. Aphelios throwing out his turret. They secure the Baron.
All right, so we're onto the map again. 5,000, of course, the gold lead. Red Bull Baron power play. Just the money earned from killing Baron itself, but it's going to grow rapidly. Mid lane tier 2 has hair left on it. It's going to be an easy kill. There you go. Gone.
That's kind of gross. Growing hair in the turrets now? What are they making these things out of?
Rabbits.
Well,
okay, Lyric, take it away!
Yeah, you know, RNG pushing down this bot side turret should be able to get this one. I like that they're keeping Cryin in mid, playing out through 2 lanes, Kobe. Gonna try and pull EDG apart. Now for EDG, it's about, hey, trying to all in on the side that doesn't have members right now, potentially giving room for Cryin to look for the split push, but I feel like that's their only option.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Realm Warp ready here, so Cryin can threaten multiple plays. You can either Realm Warp for the dive, or you can Realm Warp your minions over to the other lane to sync them back up. Cannons right now being buffed up, just waiting for the other one. What I kind of like for Ryze to sometimes do is do the minion play and get a bunch of them in there, but they don't have to waste it. So level 16 acquired, slowly work your way in.
Time to sacrifice bot lane inhibitor turret. You build as much time as you can. Of course, there are some nice plays blocking shock blasts by Wei and then Ming almost. But here's just some culling damage. They're not going to get a whole lot done. A great stun. Prince going to be doing a whole lot more. Inhibitor itself actually going to live for now as Cryin is in mid and the other 5 defending bot, so it is RNG backing off for now, but still 30 seconds the Baron buff. Inhibitor will drop. Mid lane inhibitor now opened as well. And RNG, pretty good time to reset here with 30 seconds left.
I mean, and the thing is, Elder is coming up in 15 seconds. So if there's any objective to flip the game and try and win it out of nowhere where it looks unwinnable, for EDG it is right now. And heck, they've just been in their base, so they're the first ones on the map. They're going to be able to get some vision down and try and find some semblance of control.
Yeah, this is one of those, all right, we got 1 play left in us. Everybody Hail Mary at the Elder.
They got 2 smites, Kobe.
If you fail that one, go next.
Double smite though, yes, maybe a chance here. Ward's coming around, they're gonna spot what's going on. Of course, both teams know what the play is at this point. Scout claims the scuttle, means guaranteed EDG vision. Of course, minions flooding into the bottom side. First engage comes across a whole bunch on a Scout, and Malzahar dies with summoners available, and Cryin brings in the reinforcements. It's a rampage, exactly that. Flandre left alone. His teammates from a year ago eliminated this tournament. He and his new team on the way this way now as well. RNG 14-8 in kills, looking at a 30-minute victory. A slaughter against their countrymen here as EDG, their base will fall. A best of 5 begins, and the first game goes handily to RNG. They won the lanes, they won the map, they handed over almost nothing in a 30-minute game 1 victory over EDG.
RNG have had EDG's number all year long, and at least in this first game, it looks like that is still the case. Pretty much winning all around the map, right? We saw Xiaohu out playing the plays that EDG are looking for on top side. We saw their bot lane doing just fine as well, and EDG not really able to find any way onto the map early on.
Quick, somebody get him a new phone, change the number now, because the same old stuff not working out. RNG absolutely clapping here.
And a lot of it is what we thought the playstyle was going to be, okay? Top lane counterpick, that worked out pretty well. CS was equal, but it was map pressure. First Herald went over. Eventually the solo kill went over, right? The fact they came down and took the pressure towards mid. On the other side, okay, EDG, they ban the Yuumi, they go for Lucian Nami, Premier 2-on-2. Now we have Nautilus and Wave control.